Hi everybody. So I'm going to try to give. I normally give you some clues in the writing, but perhaps obviously can't. I can't tell you everything. Now, you need a noun. Okay. So it's either you know it or you don't know it. Here you need a noun. What you can't do is make a mistake with a part of speech. Okay. Consider that. So you have a new sentence. You need a noun. Okay, like this after n, you need a noun. This noun appears later. Okay, I marked it for you. Are somewhat, so this is an adverb, this is an adjective after verb to be. This one has appeared. Then it's a matter of whether you remember or not. Okay, so unfortunately, so this is something negative. So like these are confused, wrong. In some cases, deliberate just used to justify, so it has to be negative, and it is are plural, so you need a plural noun in the negative. Okay, it doesn't exist. A deliberate interpretation doesn't exist. It's like you interpret it wrong on purpose. Disputes, so this is plural noun, you need a plural noun. Irrelevant, a negative adjective, you need a negative adjective. Remember, or and put words together which are the same. Okay, negative and, so the same. Negative adjective, you need a negative adjective. For me, it would be, then this is because of the meaning of the whole text. I always tell you to read it first. If you have understood it, obviously this has to be negative. Okay, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, it would be imaginable to teach. This is a sentence that you can say. Okay, so please make an effort to correct them if you can. And I'm going to show the answers in 3, 2, 1. So aversion is the same in Spanish. Very often it's the same. Exposure is what I told you appears in the second exercise. So this is what I tell you about when you read, how aware you are of the language. So obviously if you made a mistake here, you didn't know, and then you read exposure and you didn't realize, you're not very aware. This is a fact. I mean, you have it there. It's not my opinion. You're not aware of it when you read, which means that probably when you prepare the podcast, you read the Hunger Games and so on, you're not fully aware of what you are reading. I know it's difficult, but this is something you have to develop. Okay, so I tell students from the last 2 years, I already tell students that they have to, especially advanced students, they have to start realizing the language when you're watching series, when you're listening to songs, and then you will be learning without realizing. But if you have the answer like 2 minutes later, you should realize like some people realized and changed it. Okay, some didn't. Okay, misguided, so like wrong. Okay, because we have been led to believe something that's not correct. Now, some of you put it in singular. You have to read. So I always said you have to read the whole sentence to realize where that is correct. Yeah, very often just looking at the word and at the gap, you get it right. Yeah, but this can happen. It happens to me sometimes. I do it very quickly and I don't realize. Yeah, but I do it quickly because I don't have time, perhaps. Okay, I promise you that when I did my exam, I concentrated and I read it and I noticed. Okay, I tried to notice everything around the gap. I know this was an exam. I know that perhaps at home you do it faster, but here you had time. Okay, no one took the exam away from you. Okay, so make sure you read it carefully. So plural and plural again. Some people wrote it in singular. Okay, disputes and confrontations. Again, I don't know if someone put it positive, irrelevant, or insignificant. Negative. The same, I told you this. So unfavorable, it's okay if you write it without you, because in American English it's favor without you, so it's acceptable to write it without you. But unfavorable, yeah, some of you favorites, well, unfavorable. Unimaginable, impossible to imagine. We've seen many of these in exam. In the example unit 6, you have this for these adjectives. Okay, so this is to be recorded in part 3. Do it now so that you don't forget, and then when I ask for the record of mistakes, I find that many of you haven't done it. Okay, so please, and apart from that, you send me the extra sentence. Okay, I don't know why I got a 6. My mistakes were insignificant. What? Oh, not this one. Okay, so here I'll give you some clues. It's hi, we did something. Okay, so this should have already happened. I think most of you got it well. He wished. Okay, you are sorry about something in the past. He didn't do it, but it was his obligation, or it was a mistake not to do it. So okay, now you have the third form. You have would. You need something, so you have the third form. As hard as okay. Nothing, after nothing you have a word. a great, it's like a lot, an expression that means a lot, a great. You had it in exam for unit 6 too, which we revised before doing this. And was sent. So how many were sent back? Is that it? This with rather, you have an auxiliary verb that goes with rather. Okay, so try to correct it. I'm going to give the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's about time we did something. Okay, it's time something happened or someone did something. He wishes he had. Wish plus. So this is what you have to record. This is part 2. Okay, what you need to record is this expression. It's high time someone did something plus past simple. Wish plus past perfect for past regrets. You're sorry about something in the past. He should have given. He didn't, so he should have done it. Here, explosion. Okay, he would have forced. So what I told you, would have is third conditional. If he hadn't done, he would have. Okay, he hadn't. So otherwise, so if he had done enough, he would have forced. So it's third conditional with otherwise. As hard as comparative. Make out has lots of meanings. Make out is if there's fog, you say, oh, I can't make out the road. Okay, it's like vislumbrar, to make something out, like to be able to see something with difficulty. Make out is also like kiss a girl or a boy. Okay, so that's make out. And here is make out is give the impression that something is like that. Okay, the leaflets made it out to be very easy, like hacer parecer, no? Nothing like. Sometimes you have nothing like as difficult as, or nothing like a great deal of. This is what it is. You highlight a great deal of, or a great deal something. It's like a lot tougher, a lot of people, a lot. You don't say a lot without of. One of the organizers was, some of you wrote several or two or some or none. Okay. Now I think someone wrote none. I stopped the video to consider this. Rory put himself. It could be none of them was, but normally when it is none of is plural. Normally this is plural too. Okay, but it could be. I've seen none with was. Strode towards the man walking towards him. So one of the organizers was sent back because that's the man walking towards him. So he was. That's what you have to say. One. And I would rather is would. Okay, not had. I would rather. He would rather. So you write an extra sentence with the structure involved, and you record this in part 2. For the listening, I can send you the listening, and you can try to do it again. And I actually have forgotten. No, I haven't. I've sent the audio. I've accidentally sent the task for today, Thursday, but I did send the audio. Okay, so I can send you, when I send the video, I will send the audio. And the reading, same. You need to find the evidence for the reading and mark it. This is the only thing you can do. Okay, once you've already done it, you try to understand your mistakes. Now this is contrast between this and the second part. This is a modal verb. To make your opinion less direct, you have a verb that I get the impression, sorry. My own, what you have lived. In my, there are two words that you can use, and this is especially. And this there's a conjunction to, like, of manner, the model. Ready? So try to correct it. I'm going to give the answers in 3, 2, 1. Although, though, while. You can't say whereas because it's not two different things. It's two aspects of the same point. So I would argue, seems, in my experience, view or opinion, both are correct. Above all, I considered after all Lucy and someone else. But it's not really after all, it refers to like especially. Okay? People need to realize they're eating healthy above all. So I've talked about lots of things, but above all, like a conclusion. After all, like after all, al fin y al cabo, it's like what I say doesn't really matter. Okay? After all, we're all going to die, so why care about dieting? Okay, so it'll be like after all. As I said, I don't know if I gave like I said as correct. Like I said is not considered correct in written English, in British written English. It's admitted in, it's used a lot in oral English, and in America, both are correct, like written and spoken. So I don't know if I gave it as correct or not. Theoretically, it's not correct, but as I told you before, American English is accepted in the exam. So Now I know your marks are low, but I gave you all 8 points in the speaking. You will get high marks in the speaking if you do the exam, but you won't get 100%. But anyway, so take that into account. If you got 28, wow, you said 28, no, 28. Yeah, but you're getting 28 is a 20 out of 42. Okay, so it's less than a 5. So we'll do this in class. Today we have time. Okay, when you have your exam, if you want, you can deduct some points. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Bye.